Hey there, entrepreneurs. My name is Sushant, and welcome to Trep Talks. This is the show where I interview successful e-commerce entrepreneurs, business executives, and thought leaders, and ask them questions about their business story, and also dive deep into some of the strategies and tactics that they have used to start and grow their businesses. And today, I'm really excited to welcome Chelsea Frank to the show. Chelsea is the founder of Life and Limb Gel. Life and Limb Gel creates a line of user-friendly hot and cold therapy products that provide a contoured fit for the curves of the body and provide penetrating therapy in a safe, easy, comfortable, and effective way. And today I want to ask Chelsea a few questions about her startup story and some of the strategies and tactics that she has used to grow her business. So thank you so much for joining me today at Trip Talks, Chelsea.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. So I'm just really excited to be here today.
So let's get right into it. I'm really excited to know about your startup story. So how did you get the idea for Life and Limb Gel? How did you get started? So what is your startup story?
Right, so for us, my story is kind of unique. So I first went to school to make artificial arms and legs and kind of happened upon inventing a shoulder ice wrap. And that really helped the patients that we were seeing suffer from after surgical relief from pain and comfort. And it made the company that I worked for lots of money and was just a really fun way to start to go into manufacturing facilities and explore different materials, something new that I hadn't done before. And I kind of really found a pride with that.
Okay, so basically, your education was in something related to this, and then you started working with a company, and
yes. So shortly after I invented that shoulder wrap, they wanted me to make the gel pack that goes inside, and so I started looking at the margins of that product and realizing that they were pretty high, and the technology as far as shoulder ice wraps and different ice wraps that fit different parts of the body was just really lacking at that time. And this is about 10 years ago. So there are more innovative options now, but nothing really conformed to the body well, life and limb, to bring this company to life. And so that's why we've called it Life and Limb Gel. So.
Cool. Sorry, the internet connection got this. I don't know what happened. I lost there for a second. So my question would be, so you had this idea and you were trying this out. Was there so with this company that you were working, so you saw that whatever product that you had created, it started selling. So you said, why should I give all the profit to this company? Why should I not just start my own company? Was that part of it?
Exactly. So so what the product that I created for them was a different product. It was an orthotic, and I couldn't really go out on my own and sell that. It wasn't mine. But the idea of the ice wrap was my own unique idea, and so I thought, I've done it once, and I can do it again, and hopefully create something that's better than anything else on the market. So, and I feel like we did that.
So that brings me to this question, make something that's not available in the market. So when I think about like this hot wrap and the cold wrap thing, this is actually pretty widely available in drugstores and things like that. So how is your product different from what is already, so what is your unique value proposition?
So one of the issues with some of the products that are available right now is the interfaces and the materials either prevent it from getting penetrating relief, or there is a big watery mess everywhere. So our unique fabric is laminated to a thin 4-way stretch plastic barrier, and that keeps the skin at the optimum temperature for the optimum time. Without creating a watery mess. So our innovative materials and the designs, allowing them to be adjusted on a really small person all the way to a really big person with a custom fit every time. So a lot of the products you'll find out there, you know, they might have Velcro straps, or they might have an interface lining or a fleece, but they're just not tested and true, I guess.
Okay. So that, that makes me think, how do you prevent like someone else coming in the market and just, looking at your product and just, duplicating it? Do you have a way of, do you have like patent or some sort of intellectual property rights where you can prevent anyone from just copying your product?
That's a really good question. You know, and that's what stops a lot of people, I think, from starting anything and going out on their own is, well, it's my idea and I'm going to protect it. And that never gets anywhere. What we've figured is we've put in, you know, six years to perfect our product. So it's been that long testing different materials, testing different chemical compositions as far as the gel goes, and really coming up with a perfect model. And along with that, we've had all that experience with our customers, getting the feedback, you know, growing online, getting to be a reputable salesperson. So somebody might come along, and now, you know, one of the reasons we were hesitant to have our manufacturing overseas is, you know, worrying about copying. But we feel like we have put in the time. You know, we've now been in business 9 years. We're established, and it took us that long to get where we're at. So it's not just you know, slapping your own label on it and calling it yours. It's, we know our products and our materials, and even if people think they might have a similar product, you know, what it really comes down to is knowing exactly what those materials are. So, you know, it could always happen.
Yeah. So can you take us to the beginning of your, idea? When you had this idea, okay, I want to start my business. I already have this educational background. I did something for this company which worked really well. What were some of your first step from having that idea that I want to be my own boss to actually setting up the business? And what were some of the first challenge? Like, what can you take us through that process?
Yeah, so the first thing was I needed to first, you know, get a little bit of money so that I could have the materials needed. And so I had to take out a loan. It was $7,000, and that was enough materials and machinery to make potentially $30,000 worth of products. So I knew that it was just me. If it was just me and my sewing machine, you know, and I'm not worried about paying for my time yet, I knew that it was, you know, it was a risk, but it was a pretty low risk because I could turn that into products that could be sold. And so,
but how did you know that the products, when you will create the product, that you will be like, you have such certainty that you will be able to sell them?
right. So I kind of looked at it like a worst case scenario, or what do I need? So what I needed was, I was pregnant with my second child, and I needed to be able to stay home with them, my two children, and be able to pay that loan back and be able to get some money for our bills. So that amount was like, at that time, like $650 in sales. And if I could hit that, then I'd be in the positive. And then I thought, if I keep going with that, then if I get $3,000 in sales a month, then I don't have to go back to work ever. So right away, I was at $650 in sales just on eBay, just throwing out my products and, you know, hoping that somebody, you know, takes a risk on a new company that has no feedback. So
you got the $7,000, you created your own products and you put them on eBay, and you saw like that your products were selling. Did you,
yes.
like, when you created your eBay page, eBay shop, did you I'm assuming that the product page that you created, you wrote all the different differentiating factors that you have on your in your product and how it's different from what's available in the market.
Yes, yes. So I was able to, do all that stuff, use good word choices and, just kind of sell it like I was a professional medical person because I was. So, I was just hoping that my medical background could differentiate me between other people in the marketplace. So I didn't know anything about selling online. I had 0 reviews on eBay. So, I really am thankful that a few people said, you know what, I just took a risk, or it looked interesting. So
now you knew that your product has demand, or there are people out there who are interested in this product. What did you do next to take your business from there to the next level?
well, yeah. So I was going, okay, now I'm surviving. We were in financially not a very good place at that time. I had lost my job. We had moved and shifted some things. So then I thought, this is working, and I could potentially do this and not go back to work. My field was very lucrative, and so it was a really hard choice for me to make. But I thought, let's make this bigger. And so we started expanding, selling on our website, and going towards Amazon, and just thinking bigger, thinking in terms of, what are we going to do now? And then what are we going to do tomorrow? But not really getting beyond that. But, it's really the customers that kind of push it forward. So we had one customer that bought the package, and she said, I want to return this product. And I said, why? I was surprised that anyone would want to return. And she said, well, this is in a plastic bag. It's supposed to be a gift for my friend. And there's no packaging with it. It's just, in a plastic bag. And so she said, if it had a gift bag, or if it's in packaging, and so then it would make me go, oh, well, I guess if I'm selling this many products, what's the next step? The next step, getting packaging, getting on store shelves, and slowly evolved over time, I guess.
Okay. So at what point did you start your own website, your own, so you went from eBay to, I believe you said Amazon, and
yes. Well, I guess our website has been in the background the whole time. It was kind of, we use it as, I guess, a validation tool. I don't generate a ton of sales on it, and I really need to go in there and fine tune it and make it better. But that was how we started, actually, before eBay. But I heard crickets, and I didn't make any sales, and I thought, maybe this isn't the right strategy. I need to go where people are. No one's going to land on my page unless I really did a lot of homework. So when I didn't want to take the time to do that, I switched gears. So yeah, we've had a website for 10 years, and it accounts for about 10% of our sales.
Even today?
Yeah. So, well, yeah, I guess that's about right.
So most of your sales are really coming from Amazon, or is it more like now?
And we actually we no longer sell on eBay. It was just Amazon's been, especially with COVID, our sales have almost doubled since the beginning of the year. And also some of the products have really taken off, and we're making them not being able to keep up with the demand. So that's a good problem to have.
Yeah.
So
that brings me to this next question of your manufacturing, like the aspect that you're not able to keep up with the demand. Is it because you just don't have the manufacturing capacity? To me, it seems like, I mean, you're doing your own manufacturing, right? So
yes,
would it not make sense to try to?
So some of the things some of our struggles have been, our dream is to be in big box stores, and we'll get into negotiations with people, and then all of a sudden they'll say, well, you need to be able to do $10,000 in sales, like at the snap of a finger.
Yeah.
So we're not able to do that. So one of the mistakes we've made was not dreaming big enough, I guess, because we just thought, oh, well, everything slowly happened over time, and that's just kind of the gradual progression of things. But really, in order to grow, we needed to make a jump. So when we realized we weren't able to do that, we decided at the beginning of the year that we were going to outsource a majority of our manufacturing. And that's been working out really well for us.
And that is only this year in 2020.
Yes, actually, we still are not sending those products out yet. We're in the transitional phase where we have to change some of the wording on our website and on Amazon so that we're taking off of that, that homemade feel, I guess, the mom and pop shop to a more professional mainstream look. So we want to, make sure that we're not sending those products out before we make those changes so that there's nobody buying under false pretenses, I guess, that they're made in the USA. So, but yeah,
Okay.
we just ultimately, I have 4 kids, and if an employee gets, leaves or gets sick, or we have one that's on maternity leave now, and it's a lot of work for me to pick up the slack. And, just after 10 years, I thought, if I want to sell this business or leave it, it's there's too many moving parts. We really need to streamline it. So I'm very happy with our quality that we are getting from China, from our suppliers. We've had a good relationship with them for 2 years, so we know that we can trust them to do this the right way.
So when you look at the last 8 years or so where you were doing your own manufacturing, I guess,
Yes.
do you wish that this whole process of getting a different manufacturer that you would have done sooner, or do you think that it is only now that you feel ready that this is the right time? Like what is it like if you were advising a different entrepreneur, what advice from your experience would give them if they want to manufacture their own stuff? Like, would you now tell them that it's a good way to go, or do you say no, go and find a different person?
Well, one of the great things about doing it ourselves was when we bought those materials initially, it didn't cost us an arm and a leg. We were spending $7,000 on materials and my time, and I could take those materials and say, oh, I don't like this design, or let's tweak it a little bit. And one of the problems with, getting a big order from somewhere else is, are you sure that those materials are right? Are you sure that that's exactly the right size? And so, should I have done this sooner? Yeah, maybe like 3 years sooner, but not. I'm really glad that initially we did it the way we did it. I was able to kind of put my business on hold when we had emergencies or babies or anything like that. And so I'm glad for those experiences. I'm also glad that I really know exactly what I want now. And so I recommend to anyone, if you can, and if it's financially feasible, do it in-house first. There's no reason not to. And then, slowly let go or shift away. Because right now, one of the things is I just don't want to be in charge of a big factory forever. I'm an innovator and creator. And in fact, I'm creating another business right now. And so I wouldn't be able to do that if I was spending so much time in managing the manufacturing. So it frees up my time and allows me to do what I'm good at.
So I guess it allowed you to more experiment with different materials, different ways of doing it, getting customer feedback, and now you know exactly what works, and so now you can outsource it.
Exactly.
So you mentioned that you were selling on eBay, Amazon. So initially you didn't really have to do any special marketing to get the customer. You basically just leverage these platforms to get your first customer.
Exactly.
So you really didn't do any marketing at all at the beginning.
No.
That's
Yeah, and
very
in fact, we still don't. We just that's one area we really need to work on is, you know, marketing and putting ourselves out there. We rely very heavily on, you know, Amazon's trusted platform and, you know, certain people's reputations. So we don't
Okay.
have a lot of experience in that.
But do you ever think that, you know, given that, and this is just a hypothetical question, that, you know, Amazon just being like a third party platform, of course, Amazon is really huge, but just like Facebook or, you know, Google, they keep on changing their algorithms or something like that. If Amazon changes something and your business is affected all of a sudden, then it's like, you know, all of your eggs, at least in an
Right.
e-commerce online sense, are with Amazon. So what do you have like a backup plan or?
Right. Well, you know, and that's so common to have problems. We've actually experienced a huge problem on Amazon. When I got this new packaging, we had switched our barcodes up, and I didn't realize that when we were putting in our new packaging, that the barcodes didn't translate all of our, you know, buildup and our feedback. And so what happened was, we basically started from zero. So we were going from selling $8,000 in sales a month to like 3,000 or 4,000. And I reached out to them and said, hey, help. And they said, well, it's too late. You can't switch the barcodes back. And we went, oh my gosh, we didn't realize that one mistake nearly put us out of business.
And what
So
was the reason for changing the barcode?
it was our mistake. You know, we had the barcodes on the boxes, and I thought, well, this would be an easier method. And so, yes, you know, I messed with the critical things that were not supposed to be touched on their,
Okay.
you know, on your pages. And so it does make you go, oh, okay. So another big platform that we're really going for, which is the reason why we've taken this leap to getting outsourcing our manufacturing, is to be in big box stores.
Okay.
And we're really close to doing that, you know, getting on with some sales reps that, you know, are very reputable, and maybe getting into Canada. We have a sales rep over there that we were working with until all the virus stuff. So that's kind of been put on hold. You know, pharmacies are not really accepting new things, and getting into those catalogs is a tricky process. So, but yeah,
So
we definitely, you know, want to keep our eggs all scattered around so that we're not out of business one day.
So just to go back for 1 second. So the Amazon, your sales, so your barcode was changed and your sales went down because with the previous barcode you had all the reviews and things like that, but now with the new barcode it's like completely blank, and so that made a huge difference.
Yes, we were able to get our reviews transferred over, so it would show that, you know, we've got a 5-star reputation, but the algorithms did not transfer. So like the tracking that you're going to get with those products, you know, it went from, you know, we were ranked like, you know, this product's ranked number 100 out of gel packs, and then now it's 3,000. So there's not a lot of hope coming back from that. You know, if you make a mistake like that. And at that time, Amazon was not really putting their foot down when people were paying for, you know, influencers to write reviews and, you know, really paying their way up. So I was, you know, and I had built all of my, you know, I had built my ranking organically and was doing good that way. So yeah,
So
that really.
So on Amazon, your products, like you were just letting your, you know, you put your keywords and you were just letting the organic traffic come in, you know, whatever the Amazon traffic is. If they are searching for that keyword, they would find your product. So you weren't doing any special marketing even for Amazon to drive any special traffic to your sites, to your product.
No. Yes, okay. Which, you know, like nowadays, starting out, if I were going to launch this business today, I don't know if it would have succeeded the way I've done it, because 10 years ago there was a lot less competition and things were much different. Now I'd have to be much more aggressive and have a lot more marketing in place, and professional images and videos and all that upfront, not just over time.
So you've been working with Amazon for quite a few years now. What has been your experience overall working with them? I'm assuming that you're not leveraging their fulfillment by Amazon. You're doing your own fulfillment. So
Yeah,
in terms of like fees, in terms of like fees and things like that, do you think that it's a fair platform for vendors to sell their products, or are they taking a lot of your profits?
right. Well, I guess there's two or three ways to look at it. So if I made $15,000 in sales last month, which was one of our best months, we just have been really increasing since this virus, and since we've got a couple of our products that are now like the top choice on Amazon. And so once one product hits, then the others kind of start picking up steam. So I might not get half of that money after it's all said and done. So if it's $15,000 in sales, basically I get like $7,000.
Wow.
Because the fees, and they do all my fulfillment.
Okay, they're doing your fulfillment.
Yes. So at the end of the day, I might get 30 orders, but I'm not sitting there and printing out 30 labels and labeling 30 different boxes and going to the post office and doing that. And that kind of stuff is really time consuming. For me to do 30 orders, that would take me a good, couple hours. And so, I love going, hey, I'm on vacation today and I made $800 today, so that's some of the beauty of it. And I trust Amazon as a consumer. If I want something, I go there, I look for the 5-star review products, and it's a good place for me. And I know if I have a problem with something, I can always return it. So a lot of that stuff, I can't just, you really have to be trustworthy. And so you take the bad with the good, I guess. So yeah, they take a lot of my fees. You can definitely make money on it. In fact, when they do fulfillment, it saves me money because we're able to do that faster. My products are heavy. And so for me to get them cheaply shipped, it's, $7 is about as low as I can ship one of my wraps. So,
okay.
So as things have changed,
Basically, once you ship out your product, it's like they're doing all the heavy lifting and basically charging you for the services. So I guess that makes sense.
yes.
Now, I read somewhere that at a certain point, you were trying to pitch for Shark Tank or something, and what was the did you want more of the expertise of the entrepreneurs of Shark Tank, or were you trying to fundraise money, and what was your experience with that?
So at Shark Tank at that time, we were probably generating, about 130,000 in sales a year. So that was, pretty good. And I was just really hoping to get maybe in with a box store, hoping that they would help me in the outsourcing of my products. Because obviously, with a partner like Shark Tank, I'm not going to be making these in my garage anymore. So just the connections, and we actually were really excited. We made it to round 2 in the process, and I got a phone call, and there was some confusion about if my product actually made it there. I had 7 days to get this shipment of my products to their fulfillment or to their facility where they would, take a look at the products, and it didn't make it there on time.
Hmm.
So I didn't realize, what was going wrong until it was too late. Unfortunately, we use the postal service for everything, and we hardly ever have any problems. So it's just really unfortunate that that was the end of my experience. I mean, I'm not saying I would have made it onto the show, but to have it end with so much uncertainty. But we've had a lot of almost with our business, and that's almost harder to get an almost and
Hmm.
then have it be a no than to just not. So right after that, we were also invited um, to pitch for another television show, and then that that show looked a lot more appealing to us. Would have focused more on our family and that kind of aspect. My kids are entrepreneurs as well. They have their own businesses that they sell things on, and then that show ended up taking a different direction, featuring only outdoor products. So we no longer fit the niche, and we were dropped again. And so, it's hard to hear those almosts and
Hmm.
get your hopes all up. But we actually ended up coming out of not needing Shark Tank
Hmm.
after all. You know,
Did you
we're at the
fundraise somewhere
point.
else or?
Well, just I doing it slowly over time, and just the grit that I have and the
Hmm.
will to just keep pushing forward when it's hard. So, right now I'm going, well, I don't even, obviously the exposure and the experience would be amazing, and getting a partner would be so great. But um, we've kind of passed that hurdle, because now we're getting our products, in these new beautiful boxes, and they're looking good, and we have great quality control with our manufacturing, and so I'd have to really reevaluate it if I was gonna do it again. If what I'd be going on for. So
So the impression that I get is, and please correct me if I'm wrong, is because you were you at least even from the beginning, where because you have the family and children and things like that, your business was almost like a side hustle kind of a thing, and
yes,
but you have been trying to make progress slowly but steady and consistently, and so uh, the the pace of growth was not that quickly, but over time you have grown. Is that how you see it, or that it's
yeah,
you have to manage and juggle your family and business at the same time?
right. And we've always taken our profits, I guess, and just put it right back in to the business. Like, oh well, if we buy this material in so much bulk, we'll get such a better price. Or if we get these parts made this way, it'll be faster. And so, it's always been for 9 years has been just kind of taking and putting back in. And all of a sudden I'm sitting back and going, wow, all of a sudden, you know, we're at the point that I'm happy with. And, last year we actually, in trying to grow bigger for these big box stores, almost went out of business.
Hmm.
And it was a really hard time for us. Just if we really looked at the numbers, we lost money
Hmm.
trying to grow and trying to put it back in. It wasn't financially at a good point, because we were building so that we could get these orders that were that were not really promised to us. It was like, well, if you get to this level, then call us. But it was,
Hmm.
wasn't really a guarantee. So we were kind of taking some risks last year that, just in trying to grow, that I'm just so thankful now that we have, these new manufacturing lines, so that we can make things quickly for people and get these orders to the big box stores that we're hopefully going to be going into. So
Okay. And throughout this time, like, have you been paying yourself, like, this as part of the profit goes, or because it seems like you put so much sweat equity and you've been reinvesting all the money in the business. Uh, what was your personal, like, have you been paying yourself, or is it
Right.
Is it
Yeah.
more like
So,
you see your business as a future, you're just building it, and hopefully in the future
yeah.
you'll be
You know,
reaping the benefit?
one of the problems as a company is if you're not the right size, getting funding, you know, or saying, hey, we need $20,000 to get these bags made here in the U.S. and make them this way and do it that way. And how am I going to do that? So, you know, you can't really go to a bank to get a loan. You know, we've been lucky that we've had access to some starter funds through my husband's Native American, so through the reservation. But we've just been a lot of times building for the future, and like, I just hope this is gonna work. And so some years I've been able to pay myself regularly, and then other times, like last year, as we were building to really explode, I was like, we're either gonna go big or go home last year. So I'm thankful that we're coming out the other side of this and saying this is working. But yeah, it was hard last year to work so hard and to realize that at the end of the day, you know, I had 4 employees that I was paying, but I wasn't able to pay myself. So that, you know, but I feel too, don't be like me. I would tell other entrepreneurs, pay yourself, because otherwise, what are you doing it for? You know, it has to really be, you know, you can't just be doing it for the future, because you just never know what's around the corner. But
Yeah.
now, today,
Now,
I'm paying.
okay. Okay, that's good. So now that you're ready to get, you know, get your business to the next level, going into retail stores, a lot of times, you know, when I talk to people, you know, I'm interviewing entrepreneurs, and when I ask them about, like, you know, getting into the retail stores, I hear these 2 perspectives. One perspective is, you know, that it's good that it's, you know, now you're getting into the mass market. But the other perspective is that, you know, a lot of times it's difficult to work with retailers because, you know, they have a lot of demands and things like that. You know, what has been your experience trying to get your products with the retailers, and you know, just some of your learnings?
Yeah, so one of the things is, you know, I sometimes go and I try and pitch my company, and somebody will look at me and say, weren't you just in here? You know, weren't you just here like yesterday? And I'll think, no, but somebody was. And that person's job was to pitch a product, and it's not my job, and I'm not good at it. And how can I compete with that when there's people just bombarding these these little businesses? And so that kind of put things in perspective for me. Like, I don't want to be going out and, you know, driving around and doing the sales. I need to be in these catalogs that these people are looking at. So getting in a different way has been a good way for me to look at it. So, you know, getting into these pharmacies, a lot of times they'll have a supplier, and you have to get your products from these catalogs. So at one point we had gone into a pharmacy, and they were going to put out our products, and all of a sudden they pulled them aside and said, oh, we were told by our supplier that we can't put out your products because they're competing. And so I didn't realize there was going to be so much red tape for me. And fortunately for me, they decided they were going to kick that retailer to the curb and ultimately go with me. And they said, come and pick up all your products, because we're going to go with Life and Limb Gel. But I just did not expect it to be so difficult. And so I'm hoping that by getting into these catalogs, and getting my name out there, and you know, that's going to be a different avenue for me. So, because me trying to go out there, it's hard.
So these catalogs are these like the distributors that have products from a lot of different people, and it's like you hire them in a way, and they will probably take away certain margin from you, but it's their job to now they're working as kind of like your agents and getting your products into different retailers. Is that how it works?
Exactly. So yeah, if these companies, if you're going to get into their catalogs, they'll charge 5 to 10%, and then your prices have to be at 50% or whatever, of retail. So it also has to make sense. You have to say, am I going to make money from this? Are my margins there? Because at the end of the day, it might not make sense for certain products or certain categories. So for us, shipping these products to a different location, that's also been challenging because they're heavy. And so if we get an order for $300, $400, it costs us a lot to ship, and then that eats away. So we are on a website now called Abound, or I'm sorry, I can't remember the name of it right now, but it's our wholesale accounts, and so they offer free shipping internationally, and up to $400, and it's for free, and so I love to refer people there, so that if you're a wholesale buyer, you can get those products there and send them to everywhere, and I don't have to. I'm just so small that I don't have all the rates negotiated with all these big box places.
So if anyone, let's say in Europe, wants to order your product wholesale, they basically go to this website, which is Abound or something, and maybe you can send me the link later on.
Yeah, so it's on our website. If you go to our wholesale page, I can't remember quite what it's called right now, but yeah, you just click on it, and then it will be our wholesale catalog instead. So yeah, because if individually, we only do our products in the US now. International charges have gone skyrocketed since we started. So at the beginning, we used to sell products overseas all the time. Europe, we would have a map and we'd mark where they'd go so that my kids could see every country and all. We were having all these goals, but that really, I can't afford to do it anymore, and I don't want to take the risks. So even if people want to buy it and pay the shipping, these products are covered for a certain amount of time, and it's not worth it for me anymore.
So what does your team look like right now? I think you mentioned that you had 4 people last year.
Yes.
Now, do you still?
So yeah. So right now we're actually down to I guess I get 4 part-time people right now, and one of our ladies, the main person that does all the sewing, is on maternity leave, and so I get to go down there and be part of the team again, and work at the manufacturing line and sew things myself, which is good to do as a business owner, to know what's going on. But I'm going, I'm so glad that we're not doing this any longer, because it's so much time accounted for. But now we're going to be shifting to a new direction where we'll be doing a lot more volume and a lot more packaging things up and shipping them to bigger places. So we're not going to lose any employees. We're just going to be switching gears to distribution. So
and you don't have to worry about customer service, because that's already being taken care of by Amazon and your other partners. And
yes, well, if people have problems, they're supposed to, or they're our information's there that they can directly reach out to us. But yeah, they do. Amazon does 90% of our shipments to customers. So
have you throughout your business, the 9-10 years, have you worked with any like business advisors, mentors who have advised you on your business, or is it mostly like you working and driving it?
Yeah, so it's been me, which is really, really lonely sometimes. I don't have anyone to ask advice for, or really go to for needs. And we last year when I was feeling like, what am I going to do? Am I going to close up? Am I going to sell my business? I just was feeling kind of burnt out after so many years and just not being at the place that I wanted to be. I hired a business coach, Marcus Ogden. So he's a former NFL player, and his brother is Jonathan Ogden. He's probably one of the best offensive linemen ever. And so Marcus kind of shared, I read a lot of books and listen to a lot of audio tapes, and I heard his story on a podcast by Mel Robbins and just really resonated with it. I thought this guy had all this money, he put it into a business, and then he lost all of his money, and so he's kind of been building his way back up. And so connecting to him, hiring him as a business coach, and just kind of realizing what do I want from my business, because sometimes it's easy to get lost as far as what your goals are. And he is now a 1% owner of the business, and kind of like a product liaison. And so he's going to hopefully, once when we're getting our new packaging and all this stuff, everything's happening so fast, but helping us get into some of these other places. He's all the way on the other side of the states from me, and so hopefully helping us with some growth that way.
Okay. Last topic, because I'm a little bit curious on this topic, and I ask other entrepreneurs also, is what is your experience working with Chinese manufacturers? How did you go about finding the right Chinese manufacturer to work with? Did you have to visit China to look at the factory, to look at, do your due diligence? What has been your experience working with China?
Right. So I was really hesitant on doing it at first. And if it wasn't for, I guess I also am part of a online business like growth things called mywifequitherjob.com. Steve Chu he leads, you can sign up for his course and learn about how to connect to other entrepreneurs, how to do all this. He really encouraged me, hey, why are you not getting your products made overseas? You could be making so much more money. The quality is going to be the same. You don't really have that much to risk. So I first didn't want to go, I didn't want to reach out directly to the people selling exactly what I had or what I wanted, because I was really worried that's how people run into knockoffs. That's how people get their products ripped off. And so I first reached out to a company that made wrist straps for wrist pain. And I thought
and this
that's
was
similar.
through Alibaba?
Yes,
this was through
Alibaba.
Okay.
Yes. And so reaching out to them and saying, hey, can you make this strap for me? And developing a relationship with them. And so they've been making that strap for me for the past 2 years, and just really finding that the quality is so good. The infrastructure is, very, I don't have to worry. The quality is great. And everything's just been so pleasant, really. It's been nothing like the horror that I thought it was going to be. And then just slowly saying, hey, could you make, could you incorporate the wrap as well? And having them, work with testing different materials out and, making sure it was what I wanted. And then now we're at the point where I'm saying, okay, now I need a gel pack for it, and connecting to suppliers and testing those and getting those sent to the factory in boxes, and then having everything completed over there and sent to me. I don't know, it's really exciting for me. I enjoy it. I feel like you have to know what you want before you go there. You can't be a newbie or not really know what you want. You have to be very direct and say, hey, I need exactly this dimension, exactly this material, or say, hey, I don't know what material, but it needs to be exactly. So knowing the product really well is definitely a good thing. And I would say my experience has been really good. So I'm already working them with a couple of different suppliers for my new business as well. So instead of making those here in the United States, which wouldn't be financially feasible, we're working with some people there. So.
And when you work with these Chinese manufacturer, do you so one aspect is to give them like the exact dimensions and things like that, but do you also do like a non-disclosure agreement or some sort of a contract where you tell them, make sure that whatever product that I'm making, there would be no sort of like duplication of this in future or anything like that?
Yes, yes, definitely. So, especially if it's something like my wraps, that took me 2 years to develop this relationship with this company, and they don't sell gel pack wraps. They are not in the business for making that product, I guess. And so I have different suppliers of different things, work collaboratively together to get those completed. So it would be a lot of effort for them to put all the pieces together and try and rip me off, especially since we have a good developed relationship. So yeah, you definitely want to set those things in place. And if you're getting like a mold made for a particular part, you want to own that part, but they're going to own that part. So it's, is it yours or is it theirs? So you have to make sure that all of those things are, addressed. And then you have to go, okay, well, what if somebody lies? Am I still going to be okay? Or what if that part gets out? So
yeah. So when you look at your business, like the last 9 or 10 years, what have been your biggest 1 or 2 mistakes or failures that you think, that you feel that were the big failures, and what have you learned from those failures?
yeah, so probably our biggest failure, or one of our biggest failure was when we needed to get these bags and take the business to the next level. We only could get our hands on $20,000. And so unfortunately, the company that made the bags did an overrun, and we had to sign a contract saying we'll pay for them if you do an overrun, to a certain percentage. And we blew our whole money on the bags, and we didn't have enough money for the packaging that they were supposed to go in. And so then we were stuck trying to pay back this loan without having it be easier, faster, better. And so, we I guess you always want to leave a lot more room for error and a lot of room for, to play around with and say, hey, if we only have $20,000, maybe spend 10 of that, or not go quite so big. But then the other side of that is another big mistake we had was not dreaming big enough. We just kept thinking gradually we'll be able to manufacture X, when really we needed to go, we cannot manufacture X, we need to get a new supplier. So kind of knowing where those lines are for, leaving room for problems to come up.
Now we're going to do our rapid fire round, where I'm going to ask you a few questions really quickly, and you have to answer them maybe in 1 or 2 words or 1 or 2 sentences.
Okay.
Do you have any, and you mentioned that you read books, do you have any book recommendations for entrepreneurs or business executives?
Yeah, so probably Grit by Angela Duckworth. That's just, I guess, my story. If you could put a label on me, I'd be Grit. So just there's no secret sauce, just pure persistence.
Yeah, I mean, actually, I was just thinking that, your story is really just great. You're just going, day by day, month by month, year by year, and you're basically figuring out every little thing and growing. And in innovative product or idea in the current e-commerce, retail, or tech landscape that you're excited about?
Well, let's see. I would say innovative product or idea. I just look around at COVID and I see how this virus that came in and took everybody by surprise is really shaping every business. And I think it doesn't take a great business to make us go, oh, wow. But we can look to our neighborhood restaurant who is now, serving a drive-through or figuring out a way to make it happen. So I'm looking around all over the place and seeing innovation, and that's just exciting.
Any productivity tool or software that you recommend?
So right now we've been using Fiverr a lot.
Okay.
Fiverr.com, and that will connect you to people that will. You don't have to be alone in business. You don't have to do it all by yourself. You can have, there's somebody that'll do everything. Any dance for you in any type of music. Do a voiceover for you, whatever you need. So that's been a great resource for us lately, so that I can spend my time doing what I need to do.
And that is, do you use it for like design purposes, or what is the?
Yes, photography, lawyers, you can connect with filing patents or trademarks, doing design, product layouts, even keyword optimization, things like that. But you have to be careful who you choose. There's people that are on there and, don't know what they're doing, or they'll be priced for $5. I definitely go with the more premium services, I guess, and the people that are, level 2 sellers, so that have been on there and have proven their worth. So, take a chance once and, kind of go, that wasn't as good as I wanted. I'm going to just go with trusted people. So.
A startup or business that you think is doing great things right now?
Well, let's see. I just love any business that's able to kind of switch gears right away. So there's a company called Abound.com, and at first they were connecting people with sales reps, and now what they're doing is connecting people selling their products directly to larger companies. So, you kind of go, okay, are we in a world where we need sales reps? Maybe not. Maybe we can do it this way. So I just like to see the innovation.
A peer entrepreneur or business person who inspires you?
Well, there is a founder of a town called Seabrook here in Washington, and it is just in the middle of nowhere. And this guy came over and had this vision for this beautiful multi-million-dollar housing complex, and he made it happen. And him and his wife, worked really hard and did that. And so he's somebody close to me, and I'm not really friends with him, but he's close. He's only a 30-minute drive for me, and he's created this whole town, and it's very awesome. So
cool. And the best business advice that either you have received or you would give to others?
I would say just be true to yourself, and don't take, listen to yourself first. If you don't have the advice to give to yourself, then maybe entrepreneurship isn't for you. You got to be tough. You have to know what you want, and maybe not listen to other people's advice if it doesn't sound good to you.
Perfect. So yeah, those were all the questions that I had. Thank you so much for joining us today, Chelsea, and sharing your story, sharing your business insights. Now it's your chance to share your website. I know you have a new project coming up. Maybe you can share a little bit about that. Maybe
Yes.
If you want to share about your children's businesses, please go ahead.
Okay, so so my business is Life and Limb Gel, www.lifeandlimbgel.com. And my children, you can find them at littlebusinessmen.com. And they sell Lego inspired soaps and spirit animal necklaces. And so we have taken the idea of that spirit animal necklace that they've made and are growing that business to mytotemtribe.com. And so that's our new website with my family, connecting to your totem animal. And we're creating a line of beautiful bracelet and pendants out of these little spirit animals. So it's really fun and exciting.
So maybe in 1 or 2 years, when you've grown this business, you can come back and share your story about
Yes,
both businesses.
I'm looking forward to it.
Okay, thank you, Chelsea. Thanks again for joining us today. It's been a real pleasure, and thanks for sharing your story.
All right, thank you. Bye.